Hi, we're Blake and Brittany,
with Average Family Abroad.
and today we've got something special. Well, I guess it's special.
Is it special?
Sure. All right. We have our top 10 most asked questions.
Most frequently asked?
Most frequently asked questions.
Asked with great frequency?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Number one of our most frequently asked questions pertains to what?
Is Ecuador safe? And specifically, is Loja safe?
And I mean, yes is the vague, not specific answer if you're looking for a yes or no answer.
Yes. So again, this is a very commonly asked question, especially because Ecuador has made the news the last couple of years because of obviously a dramatic increase in crime on the coast, which we'll talk about. And we have talked about at length in our live stream on security, which you can check out to get a lot more information. I'll post the link up here above our heads. So check that out to really kind of understand what all that means and what's really going on here.
And we are definitely safety and security minded people as well. I would say Blake is very vigilant and kind of on top of things. And so we're definitely not, pie in the sky,
Yeah.
YouTubers who claim everything is perfect and wonderful, because of course there are issues, but we do worry about safety way less here than we did in Tacoma. And that's just not naivety. That's just the reality here on the ground where we are.
So I'll say Loja province, Loja city in particular, has significantly lower crime than anywhere on the coast. And so that's always been the case. Loja has always been very what they call tranquilo, right? It's a backwater in a lot of ways. And so it's so far out of the way that there's no point. But even with everything that you've seen on the news and all the trouble going on, the city of Cuenca, which is north of us, which is significantly bigger than Loja, based on statistics on the size of the city of Cuenca and above, they just recently stated that Cuenca actually has the lowest crime stats of any city that size or bigger in South America, in all of South America.
So
right?
Not only is it not dangerous, it's like incredibly safe.
Yeah.
And Loja, I would say, is like maybe safer than Cuenca, but smaller, so it wasn't featured in the study.
Yeah, I could say that, but so like I said, it's very safe in Loja, very safe in most of the mountains of Ecuador, the mountain region of Ecuador. There's really only a couple spots on the coast where most of the significant violence that you see, which is just gang against gang more than anything happening, is on the coast. It's not even near where we are.
And Ecuadorians will echo that as well. Like most of our friends here, we live in a small town, and they will reflect that, how happy they are to be in a small town and raising their families in a small town. And you can't find that too many places, maybe in the world. I don't know. They will even say that, like, oh, if we lived in the big city, our kids couldn't just be, out and about. So that's kind of a special reality as well. That may not be the case even in the mountainous regions of Ecuador if you're in a big city. But
so here in Loja province, or specifically the city of Loja and south of Loja, like we never are concerned about like having our cell phones out or your purse on your shoulder, that kind of thing. I mean, things can always happen, but by and large, you don't have that. You don't have people running by and snatching phones.
No,
like
it's not even really on your mind. Maybe it should be more, just because it is a city
Should be
still.
more, yes.
But you just don't have that vigilance. No one does. It's kind of a carefree component to being there.
Loja is a big, small city.
It is.
So it's a small, big city.
It feels like a small town that's in a city.
Yeah.
But
And so you get that same kind of everyone's looking out for each other kind of thing that you get in small towns, like Brittany was saying, where we live. And so, yeah. So Ecuador is safe. Now, there are places you don't want to move, just like any country in the world. But by and large, yes, Ecuador is safe.
Okay, question number 2. How much does it really cost per month?
Yes.
Okay. We're a family of 6. And so that's one reason why, I don't know, apparently people want us to talk more about costs, which I understand. But then our reality is so different than so many of you. And so take it with a grain of salt, I guess, and just comparing realities.
Well, I mean, we can, instead of looking at our total costs as a family, we can look at more of what individuals,
we'll try.
or couples,
What are our expenses?
So you're looking at average rents, right? So rent is a common component if you don't own a home or something. I'd say $250 to $500 a month is probably your average.
Yeah, less in the
Um,
city, right? I mean, in Loja
Again,
itself,
so many things depend on what you want and what you're looking for. Because I mean, we've known people who hosted. No, gosh, I can't even say it. Rented an entire hosteria,
which is like a resort,
which is like like a resort with swimming pools and rooms and a waterfall, and that was $1,500 a month for the whole place,
which is
which was
crazy
huge.
high.
Which
Like
is
no
crazy
one
high.
pays that much in
No
rent.
Ecuadorian would be like, yeah, I'm going to pay $1,500 a month. Whereas coming from the States, we're like, hey, that's a good deal, but
Got a whole hotel.
whole hotel to yourself. So yeah, so it just depends. So rent, yeah, I'd say your average person's looking at $250 to $500 a month for rent, depending on what you rent
Where
and
and
where.
yeah,
And again, city dependent is everything depends. So let's see, car. So most people don't own a car, right? If they come down, they're either if they own something, they own a motorcycle, and so you're looking at gas is going up, unfortunately, because of the situation in the world. But so gas here it just went up to $3.30 a gallon, which is very high for here.
we'll go back down at
Um,
some point.
I don't know, but so most people ride motorcycles or they take public transport, right?
Taxis or
Taxis
buses,
or buses, and so taxis are still, even with the gas prices, are still really affordable. So if you're just cruising around town in your local area,
doing shopping or
doing shopping and
whatever.
stuff, you're looking at $1.50 for most trips. If you're going long distances, right? Like for us, from here to the airport is now like $45, which is almost 2 hour drive, right? Kind of, an hour and a half drive. So there's that. Food. So I mean, you can span the spectrum with food. And for one thing, you grow all your own food, right? Which is very easy to do here. You're looking at a lot of minimal cost, but I'd say the average person, right, could easily live off of, I'd say $300 a month on for food.
It's just so subjective because you could buy
Yeah,
all specially imported items. You could buy Lucky Charms and fancy
true, true.
charcuterie.
But again, that's what I said. It's hard because it depends
I
on what you
know.
want and what your lifestyle choices are. Because yeah, like Brittany said, imported stuff, I mean, you could easily spend $1,000 a month on food if you wanted.
Or
But
if
at
you
the
eat
same
out a
time,
lot, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. But even that restaurant. So for our family of six, it's not uncommon for us to be able to eat out at a restaurant for $40
or
total
less,
or less.
sometimes significantly less.
Yeah, and we
One of our favorite restaurants in Loja, it's $20 for the whole family.
$20 for the whole family.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and that's, I mean,
For six people, and so eating out is much more affordable than in the States. Utilities, so electricity, if you're just using standard stuff, you're paying $4 to $9 a month for your electric bill. Internet's probably about $20. Cell phone is about, depending on what plans or what company you
eight,
go with,
8 to 10.
we pay $8 a month. Um, what else? What other things
Health
do we pay?
insurance. You talk about that.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's insurance options, but that again span the spectrum.
Yeah, a free to $100 a month per person
Hmm.
potentially. So
Yeah, it just depends. So, yeah, cost is one of those things that you really kind of got to drill down on what
your life,
lifestyle
yeah, you could live
looks
like a
like.
king and spend a lot, or you can live, humbly and spend very little
I mean, you could live down here easily for $1,000 a month, a single
for
person easily.
probably even a couple actually.
Yeah, a couple could for $1,000 a month,
Yeah.
but at the same time, a couple could easily, live for $3,000 a month, and be very comfortable.
And that
Um,
depends also on, yeah, other expenses or payments and so on that you may
mhm.
have. And then, I mean, if you have a family with kids, of course, there are a ton of additional expenses, everything from school uniforms, which easily cost us, I mean, several $100s once a year, right? Realistically,
Yeah,
because again, 4 kids, it's a big expense, and
clothes. We didn't talk about clothes. Yeah.
we don't buy a lot of
We
clothes.
don't buy a lot of clothes. Yeah,
um,
again, that's another one. It requires its own video.
I know,
Yeah,
but like also kids. I mean, we pay for music lessons and sports, which are just fractions of what we didn't pay in the United States because we couldn't pay. But like it's $10 for half an hour of piano lessons is what we pay, and there's even there's
$5
music
for
schools that are
violin. Yeah.
cheaper. Yes, and tennis is $5 a child for an hour. Soccer's free. It's just I don't know. There's a cat climbing up my leg.
Oh,
Go away, cat. Go away. Um, and so I feel like our kids have a really like nice, enriching, well-rounded life here in an affordable way. So that's great. And if you don't have kids, you don't even have to worry about that.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Question 3.
okay, Loja or Cuenca, what city should we choose?
Loja or Cuenca? Yeah,
It is a good question,
it's a very
actually,
good question.
because
They
there are
are very different in a lot of
so
ways,
many ways. Uh,
but at the same time, they're still Ecuador.
so that's a good question.
Yeah. And really, I think it's more of a recent question because Cuenca has always been kind of an expat hotspot in Ecuador, for many, many reasons, right? Cuenca is much, much bigger than Loja. So, because it's bigger and it's closer to Quito, it's much easier to get to. It's got a lot of available things. It's got all of the shopping. It's
All the
got
medical
all the medical
facilities,
facilities
great.
and professionals you
Yeah.
want. And it's got a big community of expats, right?
And Ecuadorians love Cuenca. You never hear a
Ecuadorians.
bad word about Cuenca.
Cuenca is a fantastic city. We love Cuenca. It's a beautiful city too. It's one of the colonial cities in Ecuador, so it's got a lot of beautiful buildings and beautiful sites and gorgeous nature around it. So Cuenca is amazing. It's an amazing place, but it's also big, right? It's a big city for our standards. And so Loja, right? So if you're looking at Loja, you're looking at really out of the way,
Out
off
of the
the
way,
map.
which we like, except when
Yeah,
we're traveling, then we don't like it as much.
exactly. And so Loja does not have a lot of the amenities and a lot of the services and stuff that expats are looking for, right? It has a lot less of those and a lot less expats in general.
Which we
And so,
like.
yeah, so
Again,
there's a lot less English that's spoken by people. There's a lot less catering towards expat community.
which we like.
Yeah.
I mean,
In
you can spend
Loja.
a whole day in Loja and not see any other foreigners, which I feel like in Cuenca, depending on where you're hanging out, that's much, much
It's
less
moving the
likely.
camera.
The cat is moving the camera, so sorry. We're not going to stop, though.
He's a nice cat. Yeah. So again, it comes down to preferences. Cuenca is fantastic. Loja is great and wonderful,
We love Loja. We would always choose
especially if you
Loja.
really like getting out of the hustle and bustle.
Lay down, cat.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, look, it obeyed, sort of. Just ignore the cat. His name is Dimitri, and he is an orange cat, which should say enough.
All right. One difference between Loja and Cuenca, and specifically, so Loja, the city itself, right, is one thing, but then 1,000 or more feet in elevation lower to the south of Loja is the city of Vilcabamba, which has a significant expat community per capita. And so there's a higher concentration, right, in Vilcabamba. So Vilcabamba is significantly warmer than Cuenca and even warmer than Loja. And so a lot of people like that lower elevation. And because Cuenca is really high, it's over 8,000 feet in
It's
elevation.
cold
And
consistently,
it's much colder. Yeah, people think it's very cold in Cuenca.
which
Ecuadorians
we
do.
would like that. That's one way
Yes,
Cuenca wins for
that's one of the
us.
places where they do have wood stoves, which would be nice. Um, but Loja's a little bit warmer and a little bit more temperate of a climate than Cuenca. And then obviously further south in Vilcabamba, it's much warmer and much more Mediterranean of a climate.
And one complaint we do hear when people move to Vilca and they move away is they get bored, which I don't know. We're not big city people really, so that we're not looking for entertainment in the same way. But there's not a lot to do in Vilcabamba.
Or Loja.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like there's plenty in
Well, there's
Loja.
plenty, but
I
still,
guess I don't know
people
what
have the
people
same.
do.
Yeah, people have the same complaint though about Loja.
I guess I feel like I'm always seeing events, and we're always like, "Oh, bummer!" It's a Thursday night symphony concert, and we're not going to go to Loja on a Thursday night, for instance. But I feel like there's a lot. But
Yeah.
people do say that there's not enough to do in Loja.
Uh-huh. Cuenca's full. There's always stuff going on in Cuenca.
Yeah,
Again, like I said, Cuenca's fantastic. So we approve of that choice too.
and the only real reason, I mean, we chose Loja over Cuenca is we're kind of contrarian, and Cuenca is really popular. But we wanted to do something a little different. But we could have
And
ended
it's
up in Cuenca and made a beautiful life there, I'm
sure.
sure.
And it's bigger than we typically would have
Yeah.
wanted for a city.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons that we were drawn to
Yeah.
Loja, but we have nothing bad to
Which
say
we have
about
a video
Cuenca.
about all of that too.
Yes. Okay. How much Spanish do you need before you move?
Very common question.
Yeah, I guess I would, it'd be really great if you can say por favor and gracias, for instance, because courtesy matters a lot here. And so, I mean, you can move here without a word of Spanish. And I mean, your quality of life will be different than if you have some Spanish and really apply yourself diligently to learning it for sure.
Oh
But you
yeah,
don't have to know it.
and in today's world with Google Translate and stuff like that, like you'd be amazed what people are able to accomplish and do these
Your
days.
dad has whole conversations with strangers just
Yeah,
over
my dad is
some
very good at.
translating app.
Yep, he just talks into Google
And
Translate and
holds
they
it talk
go
back.
back and forth, and
It's cute.
he makes friends and all kinds of stuff. So I mean, in today's world, it's very possible. But like Brittany said, the richness of life that you have when you learn Spanish. So I would say the answer to this question is have the most Spanish you can possibly have before you move.
And you'll never have enough
You'll
Spanish.
never have enough.
I'm at the
Yeah,
really unfortunate place where my children are surpassing me in Spanish, which is just frustrating, but beautiful also at the same time. And it's a lifetime of learning and it's a great journey. So it's fun.
it is. And people here are extremely forgiving. So
Yeah.
learning the language is actually honoring to them, right?
They don't
Uh,
love when you expect them to learn English. That is
yes.
insulting to them, the opposite of honoring. But if you make an effort, they will appreciate that.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
okay, healthcare options and costs. Oh, this is a long one too. How do we just kind of breeze over
Just breeze
this?
over this. Yeah. Okay. So
We're going to do a whole video with a healthcare
healthcare focus.
professional soon, an
Oh yeah.
insurance provider.
So yeah, so costs are great. So that's the key thing, right?
Super great.
So costs are very, very low. So we'll kind of go over. We just had to have our son broke his leg in a very complicated way and had to have surgery. And we chose because of the complications and how difficult it was to fix the break. We were recommended to visit one of the private hospitals in
With
Loja.
a highly esteemed
Highly
surgeon.
esteemed surgeon, trauma doctor, and so we went with him. So the entire surgery, his time, everything included with the hospital stay, you name it, it all came out to being $3,000, and that was all out of cash, out of pocket. That was no insurance, anything. And so if you're going to pay out of pocket, things are very reasonable. Like we did a full MRI, and the MRI cost me $100 cash out of
And
pocket.
there's no waiting either, which
No
is something
waiting.
like, I
Yeah.
mean, now if you're going
Again,
through the
this is private.
yes,
Yeah.
private. If you're going through the public hospital system in which there's no cost, you're going to wait, not crazy long waits, depending on what the specialty is,
Well,
I
and
guess,
depending where you are.
and depending where you are.
Yeah,
Sure.
so private there's private healthcare, which is phenomenal and world class, and they've got well trained doctors. And again, that's where you're getting a lot of English, right? In particular, people who will be able to speak English with you, especially if you're in Cuenca. But then you've got private health insurance options as well, and those are
Mhm.
very affordable. Like we're looking at a comprehensive package for all six of us,
Very
about two hundred
comprehensive.
dollars a
I think it was
month.
like 260 for
Yeah.
6 people. And then again, we've gone many times just to the local clinic and for stitches, various things, and free. You just walk away. Vaccines,
Yeah.
free.
And so public care is by and large free for the most part. And again, that comes with its caveats, right? That it's public health care. So, like Brittany said, things can be slower. We did have a friend who had to have surgery. She broke her leg and had to have surgery in which she was in there for 11 days. And so there are complications
But
with that.
they were happy with their
Happy with
care.
the care, yes.
Yeah,
It's
but it was
just
slower. Yes.
slower, and yeah. So you have the option. That's the key. You've got the option here
Yeah.
to choose what you want. And so,
Yes, being able to like, oh wow, this concerning thing's happening. I can literally go in today, get an MRI, have it read and diagnosed, and and I'd be able to afford to do that. It's not,
mhm.
out of reach
And
even
again, like I
for
said,
local people.
you've got insurance options. So like we just paid out of cash, but you could easily go in and all the systems here work on reimbursement, right? So you'd still pay up front, but then your insurance would cover, right, a certain percentage of that. And so again, it's one of those where healthcare is so much more affordable here than it would have been back home in the United States.
And one of our children is taking speech therapy, which is all in Spanish. I think maybe in Cuenca or the bigger cities you can probably find bilingual, but and we pay $40 out of pocket. I do think she would accept insurance, except ours doesn't cover,
Yeah.
too basic. But um, and so that's another example of a reoccurring cost.
But yeah, so but all that to say, you've got,
Medications,
yeah, medications are extremely
everything's available
affordable.
for I mean, everything we've ever needed.
Just about everything's available at the pharmacies. It's very easy to get your hands on what you need
And very affordable,
and
just
very affordable.
fractions. And I also feel like we often encounter a fairly natural approach, even among like hospital
Yeah,
doctors and so on, which I really appreciate. And a lot of times when you're talking to someone about just being sick with a cold or something, they send you to the garden or they send you to the orchard for,
yeah.
which is really cool that people are so connected to the land and those sort of traditional.
There's still a lot of
It's
that. It's
neat.
still key.
Apparently, um, people swear that a really great acne treatment involves possum soup. So just if you need that in your life
Wow.
and you have, so we haven't gotten that traditional yet, but can you rent or buy a home as a foreigner? Yes. And what does it cost? Well, we already discussed rent and buying. I mean,
Well,
you
yeah.
can buy a home for $40,000. You can buy a home for $1 million. But yes, there's
Yeah, so buying or renting property in Ecuador is extremely easy. And so renting, like we've talked about, is cheap for the most part. And there are lots of options, again, depending on where you choose to live. Like I said, cities, you've got your just tons and tons of options in terms of, apartments and, city life is easy to come by. On the coast, right, there's lots of condos and lots of high rise buildings, right, that you can get rent in and stuff like that. But then, yeah, like Brittany said, for buying, Ecuador makes it extremely easy as a foreigner to purchase property, and so or houses or whatnot. So yeah, it's really really easy, and like we said, depending on where you choose to live, can be extremely affordable. Much less cost involved in the whole process as well in buying property.
yeah,
Um,
it's
but like Brittany also said, you could spend $20,000 or you could spend $1 million, right? So there are all options available.
we bought land. We bought 5 acres, 2 hectares,
Uh-huh.
of very developed property with a structure and utilities and so on, and well-established orchard and coffee plants. And we built a home for our family, for under all of that for under $200,000. Okay. How does the visa and residency process work? And we'll just refer you to our video with our visa attorney, who's wonderful. And she will explain all of that to you.
Yes, and visas are, again, Ecuador is a fairly easy country to get a visa in, and really you're proving income requirements, and there's so many different visas that you could apply for. So again, Ecuador is a fantastic and easy country really to get a visa for, get residency
I mean,
in.
there's not a visa for everyone, but there are a lot of
There are a
options.
lot of options compared to other countries.
Yeah.
It is pretty easy and affordable to do so.
Okay. Do you need a car and how do you get one? Well, Blake already said that you probably don't need a car. And we have a whole video on this as well. If you don't need a car, we don't recommend having a car for a number of reasons that we go over in that video. How do you get one? We also go over that in the video because that is a whole thing. But yes, you can get by without a car. You probably should get by without a car.
Public
Uh,
public transportation, taxis, buses, etc., are widely available and very affordable in Ecuador. And so, again, like I said, if you don't have to buy a car,
buy a
don't
car.
buy a car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is internet like? Can you work remotely from Ecuador?
yeah. So, internet. We've talked about this also in other videos where because Ecuador wasn't on the forefront of telephone and AT&T and T and Bell and all these companies like the US was back in the heyday in the turn of the century, etc., that there was nothing here. So it was very easy for telecom companies, internet companies to come in and just build out the newest technology fast. So that being said, we've got two fiber lines here on the side of a mountain, and we also use Starlink, which is much cheaper
We
affordable
we have
here.
the two because we both work remotely and
Mhm.
need internet, and so we need the redundancy.
So internet is widely available pretty much everywhere, as well as cell phones and cell phone coverage, and cell phone networks. It's all modern and up to date and significantly cheaper than what we were paying for stuff in the US. Again, because Ecuador doesn't have all that baggage from years
All
past,
that
right?
technology.
Well, no, it's the institutions, right, that were in the way essentially.
And can you work remotely from here? Yeah, but I mean, we have a whole video on that. And I mean, it's not super simple as far as laws on the U.S. end of things or wherever you're coming from. And so,
But yeah, but as
yes, you can,
you can definitely,
technology wise.
yeah, technology wise, you can definitely work remotely from Ecuador. Again, just depending on your employer or whatever, we know a lot of people who do.
And it's convenient for U.S. time zones as well.
Very convenient for U.S. time zones, and Ecuador uses the U.S. dollar,
Hmm.
which I guess in terms of paychecks and money, that kind of stuff makes it easier.
Yeah, a lot of reasons why it's
Um,
a doable for sure. Okay, last question. What are the schooling options for expat kids? So, ooh, that's very location specific as well. Homeschooling is not really legal in Ecuador, if that's your first thought. We know a lot of people who do homeschool.
Not homeschool like we do in the United States.
No, it's much more
Um,
regulated and very
yeah.
uncommon. However, we do know a lot of, I think the majority of expat families down where we live homeschool. And I think the government's kind of like, I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but like, oh, whatever, do your thing. Um,
Well, that and you can prove that you're running like you're doing school, right? Like
that's true,
you've
especially
got
if you're enrolled in like an online thing from.
sure you've got an online program or you're doing a curriculum, that sort of thing. As long as the kids are being educated,
It's
right?
more
Is
also like why it's just very baffling as to why you would do that here. I think and we've encountered that in the United States with Latin Americans as well. Like they give you schools. Why would you keep
why
your
would
kids
you
home?
why
It's
would
like
you do it at
that's a
home?
good question. No,
Yeah.
we love homeschooling, and it was sad to give it up, and we're always tempted to go back to it. But we are finishing our third year of public school in Ecuador, and that is, I think, a fantastic option for a lot of families.
Yeah. So again, so down here you've got I mean, as foreigners, as expats, you can do some form of homeschooling if you've got a way to prove that you're doing it,
No
right?
one's probably going to ask either, but it's good
Probably
to be
not.
able to
But
prove.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, you've got all the options if you do online programs, if you've got your own school curriculum that you brought with you, like we did. Um, but then, yeah, you've got public schools, right, all over the
Hmm.
country, and
Some of them are religious public schools and some of them are not public school. We don't totally
not
understand
religious
that,
public school.
but they're
Yeah,
all religious at the same
well,
time.
they're all
Okay.
religious, but yeah, because of culture. But yeah, some are run like well, there's a school in Malacatos where one of our friends teaches at, and it is run by the priest who manages
But it's
this
a
area.
public school. It's
But it's a public
interesting.
school. Yeah,
So it's just a curiosity. And then there are private schools, but none, however, outside of major cities, as far as I know. Like Loja has private schools that are very highly regarded.
yeah. Loja's got
Um,
some great private schools and it's Ecuadorian children. It's not
yeah,
foreigners, right?
Yeah, because there's hardly any foreign kids
Yeah,
in Loja. But if we lived in Loja, maybe we would send one or all of our kids to a private school
probably would
if
choose
we
a private school.
maybe.
I think so. Because again, the same thing. Public schools are public schools, right? Like we're happy with ours, like we've described in other videos. And I think that's more because our public school is so much like an old schoolhouse style. Like we're out in the country and there's a
Mhm.
small amount of kids, and so it is so great.
Yeah,
Whereas
it's
you could have big city
wonderful.
schools,
That's
right,
true.
that are full of problems, full of issues with culture.
But education wise, they're you make of it what you make of it, just like with
Yeah,
any school. We know kids who are doing poorly and barely making it, and
but
we
it
know kids
is
who are high achieving.
surprisingly rigorous. Oh, I'm very surprised still.
Yes.
Um,
Our daughter, she's taking physics, chemistry, and biology as a high school sophomore.
mhm.
Like that's intense, and algebra.
And
Yeah, we learned a new thing this
yeah,
year, which has caused us some stress towards the end of the school year. If you fail, and fail, I mean, you don't get a C or above.
mhm.
If you don't get at least a C, the equivalent of a C, in any one of your subjects, you have to repeat the whole year. It's not like in the United States where you would repeat one subject. And so that was kind of a shock. And so it
Yeah,
is rigorous,
it
which
is
is
rigorous.
good, I guess. I mean, people are coming out well educated, um, to a large degree. But and then there are random things like there's actually a what would you call that one school in
With
Vilcabamba?
Montessori type schools
Yeah, there are a
and
couple,
alternative
I'm sure there are
schools.
more in like Cuenca and Quito and Guayaquil as
Mhm.
well, but
I
um
feel like there's pretty much kind of everything, all the different kinds of schools that you could.
not available for everyone
No, 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 no.
everywhere.
But I'm just
But
saying, like,
yeah, if that was your,
um,
and then if you have kids, you're going to use that as a requirement for picking a location, I would imagine as well. But yeah, we've been really happy with public school. It's been, I mean, it's a huge part of our life, all of us. We should all get a degree, in fact, you and me too, because
Our Ecuadorian high school
it's,
diplomas.
yeah, it's such a huge learning experience, but it's been a tremendous help in being part of our community and learning so many cultural things, so
Yeah,
many things that we just wouldn't have had a good grasp on if we
it's
weren't part
true.
of school, for better or for worse.
And even a private school would have been the same.
Yeah,
It
I'm
doesn't
sure it
have to
would
be
have
public
been.
school
That's
for
true.
that. Yeah.
And yes, our kids went in with very little Spanish and are all fluent now.
Hmm.
And so, like I said, they've surpassed me. And I majored in Spanish in college, and I love Spanish. And I mean, they're much more colloquial as well, and they know the bad words.
Oh,
So, public school,
yeah. Well, yeah. And
yeah.
it's yeah,
But no, there are a lot of options, and I will say that if you're going to put your kids into school, um, I mean, it's a parent commitment. You don't just send your kids off. Like I think it's pretty
yeah.
demanding on a family, and it definitely helps having Spanish. Although you could certainly put all your WhatsApp messages into Google Translate, and we know people who do not speak Spanish who are being successful sending their kids to school. So Spanish, but don't be daunted.
But don't be
It'll work
daunted.
out. People are
Yeah.
really supportive. All right, that is all of our top 10.
Top 10.
That was a
Okay.
doozy.
That was a doozy. And so, yeah, like we said, in probably almost every single one of those, we have a video on that. So go back and look at our prior videos if you have anything else. And of course, always comment and,
You can
ask any
also reach
questions.
out to us via email, right? I mean,
Yeah,
on
if
our
you visit our
website,
website.
Average Family Abroad, we have contact information. And we do respond to emails. We enjoy that level of interaction. And so we will respond to you. We welcome the questions and inquiries.
So if you visit averageFamilyAbroad.com, you can find our contact there. And then, yeah, so please reach out. So we're happy to answer questions and, build a new list of frequently asked questions.
Yeah.
Most frequently asked questions. What did I call it?
Frequently mosted.
Frequently mosted questions asked. But yeah, thank you so very much for watching this video. We know it's been a while since we posted, so
It's been very busy.
it's been very busy in our
Everything's good though, but just
lives. Busy.
end of the school year rush. Oh man.
Right. Yep. I can't wait for it to end. So, thank you again, and we will see you guys on the next one.